Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Ellen. So there's all kinds of techniques in watercolor: wet on wet, wet on dry, and dry brush. And not too many people play with dry brush, and we're going to make some really cute like holiday or Christmas cards, or even just regular cards for people who love the winter, using the dry brush technique. This technique will create really cute little skiers going down the mountain. I go over how to do this step by step. There's no drawing or anything involved. You're using your brush as basically as a pen with thick paint to create this dry brush kind of fun technique. Really, really simple. Anyone can do it. Just take your time, and you're gonna really need to use this with like a tube paint over a pan paint, although you really have to activate the pan paint, and the tube paints work much better for dry brush technique and the butter consistency. If you have any questions, leave in the comment section. If you're a Patreon member, you get the bonus tutorial with the night skiers right here. If you're not a Patreon member, I might want to consider joining. The link is in my description below. I have, extended and extra and weekly exclusive tutorials. I have a live stream in the top tier. You get first dibs in watercolor workshops and retreats. A lot of, a Facebook group where everyone gets to like show their work, etc., and all that good stuff. So, like I said, the link is in my description box, and you can join and cancel anytime. So without further ado though, let's get painting using the dry brush technique to create these really fun little skiers. Alright, so to begin this tutorial, you'll need a few supplies. I'm using Arches 100% cotton cold pressed paper. You want a cold pressed paper like Arches or Legion or Bohong because it has a great tooth to it, right? And it can soak up some nice pigment and color and watercolor. The other ones just don't cut it. I'm sorry. And so if you want to just use scrap for these kind of cards, go right ahead. This is like a 4x6, maybe a little bit bigger, that I'll be using for like a card shape. But you can practice on just a scrap that you've had that maybe you did a nice big picture and you didn't like the, you cut off the end of it. But you're really going to, this technique really works on a cold press with this nice little grainy tooth to it. It won't work on hot press or a really kind of inexpensive cold press paper. It's just not going to be the same. And you can use whatever brush, but I'm going to be using a Princeton 8 long round Velvet Touch series. It's a little stiffer. You want a stiffer brush when you're doing dry brush technique. You just do. And so in the dry brush technique also uses more pigment, more paint. I use tube paints because it's just easier to put out the pigment and lots of paint. Pan paints, you have to activate them. They're kind of chalky. It's not the best. You don't get as much saturation. So before we start with our little cute little skiers, let's practice with the dry brush a bit, right? So I'll just take some ultramarine blue. Now you see the consistency. I just put a teeny bit of water there. I'll grab my brush and grab a little teeny bit of water. And we're just going to make a shape of like a person's body, right? You see? Just kind of like push it on its side. Let me zoom in a little bit more so you can see. We're holding it kind of on its side and kind of making like a rectangle kind of shape, right? And then for the arms, you just kind of pull down. You can pull out. Let's see how I get that nice dry brush look for the body. And for legs, same thing. I'll grab some Paynes gray, maybe black pants. See how that tooth, you can see the tooth coming through and the paper. And if it's wet, it's not going to come through as much, right? If it's dry, you're going to see it. And then you just put the legs like that. Just little skinny little legs. And then for skis, you can use any color, maybe red, orange. I'm grabbing some red here, cadmium red light. Maybe put like a little dab of color for his ski boot. Just do a little black like that. See, just 2 little dots. And then I'm going to grab some thick red, and we're just going to go pretend, see, it's too wet. It's not going to do that dry brush. You really just want it not as wet, minimal water. And let's see. See, now you got it. Just a line, really quick motion here. See? Boom. And it'll curl up for the ski. You can put little mittens on his hands, his, hers, whatever. And then for the face, you could put a color in the face. recommend for flesh color, I kind of use the cadmium yellow light, or maybe I'll use cadmium yellow deep, maybe cadmium red light, maybe a little pink in there, like a quinacridone magenta or rose. I'm grabbing some red that I have here. You just really water that down. It doesn't even have to be really a skin color. It's the pink over here somewhere. My pinks are all put away for this summer. Just water this down. You can just kind of put like a little color in there. It could be red, it could be lighter than that. That would might want to water down, right? For the flesh of the face. And then for the helmet or the hat, any color, again, thick paint. Really just simple. You're just using the brush. Mix up some green. I'm using Prussian blue and cadmium yellow deep. And we can put in a scarf. See, I love this dry brush. You can get real detailed with little lines. Boop, boop, boop. But then you're just using the paper to your advantage for that dry brush technique. And that's it. And if you want to put some goggles on them, put some goggles on them. And of course, we have to put the ski poles in there. So I'll just use like a Paynes gray and do the circle, point, boom, 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 circle point. So that's your basic skier. And then you're going to do different positions, and we're going to put some shadows in to make really cute cards. So for the cards, like I said, make whatever size you want. And then, of course, I would prefer, like, you just take, like, if it's expensive paper, just take a piece and then glue it on top of, like, craft paper or cardstock that's a color or whatever, so that you're not using as much paper. You wouldn't want to fold this and use this as a card because it'd be very expensive. Just giving you ways to make it cheaper. So we have the technique down, using the dry brush, making a little skier. Let's do a bunch, and you can do different shapes, like moving down the mountain, right? Maybe like they're like going down like a slalom kind of ski thing. And you're just using the brush to draw with, really, just a dry brush technique. So I might get my yellow here, make like an orangey kind of color or yellowish orangey color. And so position maybe 3 skiers here coming down a mountain. So let's see. Put a yellow one over here. Again, just using the brush. Dry brush. A little thicker paint. Right? And then the arm could be short. Just a little line. And the little arm. Boom. Boom. It really is just kind of simple like that. And then the legs. You can use a color. I might use the Paynes gray again. I'm just going to kind of go like thicker from the top and less paint on the bottom. See? Use just a little bit of water. Boom. Maybe have them come in a little bit more on top. And then just put that little boop, little dot kind of like for the front of the boot. And then for the ski, you can make whatever color you want. I had red last time. I use this color called Pyrrole-Rubin. It's a great red from Holbein. I'm kind of activating it. You can't really see. And I'm going to mix it with my cadmium red light and get a nice red. And I'm going to, again, just move this movement like this. For the ski, dry brush. The second ski. I can see the tooth. So you're kind of not really seeing the ski, but you get what I'm saying? It's a great technique. And of course, the pole. Or you could put mittens on them first and then put the pole. So different color mittens, make them colorful. Why not? It's Christmas. So I can put some little green mittens, just little blobs like that. And then take the Paynes gray. Again, you're just barely touching the paper, a little ski pole, and have it kind of like here and up, down like that, in a little round circle. There's your ski. We'll put a little shadow to the side of them, you know, and you can have that coat, you know, you can put a scarf in there. Maybe have like a green scarf kind of floating like that. You could put a little phrase if you want. We still haven't done the face yet. I'm gonna grab my like a magenta or a rose. Yeah, here's bright rose to make like the flesh color. I haven't used this since spring, and we got winter here, so the rose with a little yellow makes a nice blush tone. Perfect skin color. Or you can just water down some like orange, and you don't even have to have a skin color. It can just be that color. Now I'm gonna put like a little hat, maybe a nice black hat. I don't know. See, just a little line, a little pop, boom. We could add some goggles if you want. I'd wait till the flesh part dries. And if you want a little pom-pom, something like that. That would be our first guy. Having a couple moving like different ways. So, and of course, different outfits, different colors. I'm gonna go back to the ultramarine blue. And I'll have one like hand over here. Again, just on the side. Maybe the arm's kind of like, whoo, out. See, that's a little too wet. I don't get that tooth look. But you can make it a little bit wet. And make the pants. Gonna stick with the Paynes gray, I guess, on this one. Just like that. And maybe do red skis again, a little bit brighter. I'll do the boot in a second. Just putting that in. Just really loose. And I'll have one up here. Just kind of like foreshorten a little bit. Maybe make a green guy. So I'm using cadmium yellow deep and Prussian blue. And I'll put one little kind of shorter guy here. Little arm. There's some water on my brush now, so it's not getting that tooth. Like a turtleneck kind of thing happening up here. Just use your brush and your paint. And then I'll use maybe ultramarine blue with Paynes gray to make a deeper blue. And there's the pants. So kind of bending the knees and the long leg. Kind of like that. Boom. And put the little boot right there. I think I'll make the skis on this one different. Like black, Paynes gray. Again, just like the movement of the brush. You know it's skis, right? You can put like how many skiers you want. Going this way and that way. Kind of these guys going a similar way. Kind of change it up. Have maybe twist in them. Have their knees bent. Maybe have somebody in the background. Gonna lose them. I think this one, his head's gonna get cut off by this guy. Play around with it. I should have spaced it out more, but it's fine. And then use the brush. Get the whole face here. And the hat. Could be any color you want. Or it could be helmet, because they really should be wearing helmets. And then, you know, change up the mitten colors. All that good stuff. And do the ski poles. This one can be kind of like bended. Little hat. Now for the goggle, simple. Just put like a little, almost like glasses. Like that. Right? They're kind of cute. Like looking that way. You can add little details if you want. I mean, I wouldn't go too crazy because, you know, add some details. Again, just putting a line down, little dots, buttons. You can make the scarf have some detail. Just don't go too crazy, because you would make yourself a little nuts trying to get all the detail in there. Right? Gonna fix this hat. And their face was like a kind of funky color. Goggle here too. Just a little black, like almost like sunglasses. Boom. Oh, sorry. Same thing like this, but facing that way. And if you want to put a scarf in, put a scarf in. Woo! Really kind of cute. We could put a little flag in, like a red flag, like they're slalom skiing. Put a couple of them in there. Again, just a triangle on its side, and add a little stick. And then we can put some nice little shadows. So shadows could be, I like to use ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. Make a nice gray, more blue. Water this. This time you kind of water this down to get that color, but then you tap off on your paper towel. And then we're going to do like a little shadow. It could be a little more redder if you want. We're going to do it on the side. See? The little flag would have a shadow. Kind of going down the hill. Don't have to have one. But just, this is the dry brush. It's kind of cute, right? Make a nice little cute. Maybe add a little more. Now they have the technique. Like maybe I didn't like this one. Maybe I changed some of the jacket. You can change it up. You can make different skiers. You can use for ice skating, all kinds of techniques. You want to have a little mountain in the background, put a little mountain in the background. Get a little more detail. I think I like this one the best. Play around with different positions, right? So I did those kind of skiers. Maybe I'll have like just one or two on the second one. Gonna grab some red again. So do Christmassy colors. You could just do one big skier and have a little more detail. It's up to you. So maybe just, again, taking the brush, holding it on its side like this. Dry brush. See? Just one big skier. Short arm foreshadowing. Foreshortening, I'm sorry. See? There's the arm. And then whatever paint color, I think I'll make like a navy kind of bluish. I'm using the Paynes gray and ultramarine blue because you want them to like feel like they're. Well, I'm gonna fix the jacket a little bit. Hold on a second. Like bending like they do in a slalom. Kind of ski bending. If that makes any sense. And then I'm gonna grab that color I was talking about, the blue. Again. Together. Brush. And leave a little space and boom. They could have the boot kind of just right in front. It's just kind of wiggling dot, basically. And then the skis. Again, it can be just Paynes gray. And we're just going like this. Shh, shh. Let that tooth work in your favor. Right? And here, pull down, wiggle, and here, pull, kind of lean out up here. And then you can put in a little flesh color for the face and do the goggles. So just like a round circle. You gotta let that part dry. While that's drying, let's put a little shadow in. I might make this one a little more bluer. Again, I always tap off the excess water on the paper towel so you can get that dry brush. Can have the little flag back here, like that just came down. Grab the little pole, and then do a little shadow. You just have one skier, right? You can picture the mountain in the background, and you can write words here. And again, make it more Christmassy by adding in Christmas colors. Just a green scarf. Long lines. And then we'll do a hat. Oh, it could be any color of the helmet. It could be yellow. Let's get a little yellow. That's a little wet. Got a little too much wet. Thick paint. Here we go. Thick. I'm not sure if it looks like kind of like a top hat. I can fix it by just going over it with color. Use some Paynes gray. It does look like a top hat. That's okay. We just go boop. Sometimes you have to fix these things. And I'll make it green. A little more green. And if I put a little red pom-pom on it, it won't look so goofy. See, now you fix it. And then I'll do the goggles. Thick paint. It just looks like a fun hat now. Right? And then you can add some details, like I said, to the scarf, to the hat, all that good stuff, even to the jacket. Jacket can have a little more fun details on it. Right? You can put pockets, little lines, buttons. But that's pretty much it. That's how you make a really cute dry brush skier. Don't get so fussy about it. And you can write words here. A lot of fun. So try this technique, just using your brush, holding it, going like shh, 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 like I showed you, making little stick legs, little lines. The trick is to move fast also, but having thick paint. So it's a combination and the paper. And you can make these little cute little skiers. And if you're a Patreon member, you get the night skier one. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for stopping by my channel. Please play with these techniques. The thick paint on the nice tooth paper. It's going to create really kind of fun. Like this guy is my favorite. You can sit there and do a bunch of them in a row. You can have like a bunch of skiers. I think if I blew up this one, I'd be happy. I like the way I did that position and the eyes. It's a happy accident. I'm sorry if you can't see that. This is the one I like the most. This one, kind of goofy. But that's what happens. You just keep playing and playing and making different colors and change the colors in the jacket. You want to go back in, you can add little like yellow stripe. You know, play around with all the good stuff that you've got. So I hope this was helpful, informative, and that you had some fun painting it. And like I said, stick around if you're a Patreon member and you get the extra. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.